We have now reached the fourth step of the 7-step guide. This is to edit. In step 1, 2 and 3, we have been implementing expansive thinking. Those were the stages when we were lying down everything on the table, all our facts, figures, information, etc. Now begins the part of reductive thinking. We all know the difference between signal and noise. Let's implement the same concept in our presentations. In step 1, we formed our thread. We now have to check whether it's our signal or noise. What that means is if our content is closely aligned, consistent, and makes sense, which puts it in the category of signal. But if it is good content, but not related to the topic or not exactly pertinent to the entire theme, then we label that as noise. Another concept used to edit information is stickiness. Stickiness is anything about a piece of information that sticks with the audience longer. Our aim is to make all the important information sticky. The concept of stickiness is very well explained in the book Made to Stick by Chip Heath and Dan Heath. Chip and Dan give us 6 basic principles to success. Let's talk about them in detail. Simple. Find the core of any idea. You need to prioritize your ideas. Providing, say, 10 arguments to a public is doomed to fail since people will not be able to remember them all. Be a master of exclusion and stick to the core. Principle 2 is unexpected. So, grab people's attention by surprising them. You need to violate people's expectations with counterintuitive surprise. Generate interest and curiosity to endure your ideas. The third principle is concrete. What I mean by that is that make sure an idea can be grasped and remembered later. Explain in terms of human actions and use sensory information. Use concrete images and proverbs. Credible. Credibility gives an idea believability. Look for ways to help people test your ideas for themselves. Emotional. Help people see the importance of an idea. Let people feel something. Now, research shows that people are more likely to make a charitable gift to a single needy individual than to an entire impoverished region. So, work on such tiny details. The last principle is stories. Stories empower people to use an idea through a narrative. Tell stories. Hearing stories acts as a kind of mental flight simulator, preparing us to respond more quickly and effectively. Now, you have to understand that not all your information will be sticky as in when you are gathering it. So sometimes you will have to make non-sticky information sticky. Let's take an example. Recall how we used this fact in the previous video. Each American consumes on average 53 pounds of bread per year. Now it's obvious the audience is not going to remember this figure. It's also possible that a person who's from a different region who does not exactly understand the significance of pounds will not be able to analyze what you're really trying to say. So instead of this, why don't you say each American consumes on average 53 pounds of bread per year, which roughly equals the weight of an 8-year-old child. Now you're still giving all the information. You're telling the person about the 53 pounds fact, but you're also backing it up with a universal or a globally accepted symbol, a child. So a person is bound to understand this better and also retain it for longer. That brings us to the end of the fourth step. We've discussed the difference between signal and noise and have understood the concept of stickiness. Thank you. We'll now look at the next step.